Remember, we're doing square because we're making an icon. Remember, it's RGB since we're making something for the screen, and we're going to hit create. Okay, choosing colors for Android. For some reason, I'm not on the right site. I don't know why. I have to keep searching here. So let's talk briefly about color in Android. Inside Android, the colors are very solid. As you can see, very saturated. You guys know the term saturation, right?
Yes.
Okay, saturation. Very saturated, solid colors. You can see the blue here. Look, very saturated, solid colors. You know.
There are no wrong colors. What matters most is how you use them. But with such a broad spectrum to choose from, how do you know which colors will work for you? The Material Design Palette provides a simple, smart approach to building with color. Starting with the primary 500s, it scales from light to dark, offering a variety of carefully chosen values. These color ranges are then applied to different elements in the UI. The 500s are perfect for describing the dominant theme in your product and are great for toolbars. From there, scale up to the 700s for status bars, or down to a 300 for secondary information. Accent colors are brighter and more saturated. They encourage user interaction, giving your UI subtle but considered color pops. They are perfect for highlighting primary action buttons or fabs, standard buttons, switches, sliders, and more. This system for thinking about color is powerful, immersive, and completely adaptable to any application. Whether your brand is poppy and bright or serious and subdued, Material Design makes color work for you. Start building. Get to know the fundamentals of color on google.com/design.
Okay, so again, they like to use a solid color and then tints of that color. Did you see there's 700 down to 100? And they actually have a whole palette here that you can look at. So you start with and they give you these values right here are used for what? For these color palette. What is this one called with the little pound sign that starts? What was it? Hexadecimal value, right? We use it in web design. Okay, so they give you the hexadecimal value. Notice the 500 is almost, not a solid red, but it's a very saturated red, right? And then using tints of those colors to adjust in your UI, in your interface. So in doing so, I can choose specific colors that I can use. So let's say I'm going to, I don't know, you want to use blue? Who wants to use blue today? Or you want to use orange? Because it's pumpkin time. You want to use the orange for pumpkin? Okay, so I don't have the time to write all this stuff down. So what I can do is do what? Take a screen capture, right? So I'm gonna use this orange. I'm gonna use Command-Shift-4, draw a box around this. All right, Command-Shift-4 takes a screen grab. I can go over to Illustrator and I can place that color palette inside here and place it over here outside my viewable area, and then I can use my eyedropper and suck up those colors as I'm working. Okay, you see how I did that? Again, I'm looking, it doesn't matter where you're at. I was just using Google Materials here, or Material Design here. But again, an easy way to take colors is to do Command-Shift-4, draw a box. It takes that snapshot. And of course, if you're a Bill Gates lover, right? Bill Gates user, what do you use on Bill Gates' computer? Snipping tool, right? Snipping tool takes a picture of the screen. Okay, so once I have that in Illustrator, I can then go and start making my icon. I was going to make a wheel, right? I was going to do an orange wheel. I don't know why I'm making an orange wheel. But let me demonstrate the wheel again. Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to use the round rectangle tool. I'm going to start in the center. You see me make this before. I know you have. And I'm going to grow from the center out. Then we're going to rotate again with our duplicate, just like we did with our flower, right? Just like we did with our flower. So there we go. We can color that in if we want. We can combine all these together into one object using what? Pathfinder, thank you. So we go in our Pathfinder, we smoosh them all together. Then we want to cut a hole through it so that my wheel has, my sprocket has a hole. I'm going to put a circle in the middle. And then cut a hole through that. Minus front. Cut a hole through it. Then I want to make it look like it has 3D to it, so it has a 3D look. To give it a 3D look, we can use our 3D tool. Our 3D tool is what? The 3D right here. Remember doing the revolve? I'm going to do the, not revolve, I'm going to do the, what do I want to do? Do I want to revolve? I don't want to revolve. I guess I want to extrude and bevel?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Extrude and bevel. That'll give me 3D look. If I hit preview, you can see now it kind of has a 3D look to my icon. You can rotate. If you want a thicker shadow, you can make it bigger. Something like that. How's that? Is that like a cool icon? Okay. So we have that, but of course I don't want it to be this color. I want it to be a light color. And then I'm going to make a darker background. Material design. So I'm going to start with the 500 orange. Let me make a rectangle, the whole thing. And make that 500 orange. There we go. Send that to the back. There we go. How about that? Okay, now we need to put our shadow in there, right? The Android shadow. And if you don't know what the Android shadow is, again, there is a, I don't know where I need some samples here. Android shadow. Uh-oh. I got a character. Hedgehog? Is he an Android shadow?
That's shadow.
Okay, so Android has a variety of ways of doing things. None of this is what I really wanted. So there's a couple ways to give it a 3D look.
Look up Android like app shadow. Oh, that first one.
Oh, there we go. Oh, look, there's a little asterisk right there. So again, you can see there is kind of this light kind of look from the upper corner. The shadow look. Shadow look. Shadow, shadow, shadow look. Okay, so we can just basically simulate that. Notice how it's a gradient, so it's not necessarily solid. It starts solid and kind of peters out towards the edge. That's the word, peters out. Making up terms now, making up words. So let's just look at how about a quick and easy shadow? How can we make a quick and easy shadow? Well, I can basically go over to my effects window. If I can find appearance window, I'm sorry. And you can add a shadow there as well. There is a shadow. It's under stylized, drop shadow. And so you can give yourself a kind of a shadow that way as well. So this is not necessarily the big 3D one we were just looking at, but this was a simple way of making a shadow. That makes it stand out a little better. Did you see that? Again, just applying a basic shadow, no shadow, shadow, no shadow, shadow. That's a very quick, easy way to add some more 3D look to it, right? More 3D look to it. And you can also adjust how that shadow works, where you can change the angles and the offset, right? So maybe you want it to go the other way. So the shadow's on the other side because it's 3D and it's kind of going that way. Did you see how the shadow's on the other side now? So again, you can do some basic adjustments there. Or you can basically just make a shape for the shadow. So the easiest way to make the kind of shadow look is to make your own shape itself. So again, is it going to be inside here as well? I'm going to use the pen tool, and I'm going to start with the edge, right? And I'm going to draw, and I'm going to put the shadow inside here as well. And we want it to go which way? We're going down this way, right? So I have to kind of let me move my point here. There we go. Probably should have. I have to think about this for a moment. I want that to go. Okay, so I made a shape that's kind of in the shadow way. I don't like my 3D being this way though. But whatever. So I just basically made a shape. Of course, I'm going to arrange it and send it to the back, so it's behind it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose from my palette a darker color. Oh, it's behind here, that's why. I need to send this to the back. There it is. Okay, of course, that's one shadow, but the problem with that, of course, is that, yeah, we probably should have the color in here. Hold on, let me get this. Oh, didn't want to do that. Should we keep that there or not? Okay, so how I'm going to do the shadow is by using a gradient that kind of follows the color. So I use the dark orange here, right? So I'm going to use the gradient option right here. So I'm going to use the gradient option, and I'm going to turn the gradient on. And I'm going to drag my gradient this way. And then I'm going to go to the gradient window here, and I'm going to select the color here. And use the eyedropper. And what am I doing, 500? No, I'm doing dark here. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Okay, I gotta go back to gradient. so hard to put the right color in where you want. That just makes it solid. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a palette. Hold on, I'm gonna have to make some swatches here. No, it'd be solid. Okay, so how about something like that? What do you think? Does it work? Does it say? What does it say? Your icon should tell me what it does. What is it? Settings? Don't know. Okay, let's do another one. How about we steal like we did last time? So, where did we steal from? What was the website? The Noun Project.com. And then, what are we going to make an icon on? Halloween? You want a ghost? Okay, let's steal again. Command Shift 4, right? And we draw our box. Right? Then I would take it into Illustrator. Let me make another artboard. You want to stay with orange? You want me to go with a different theme? How about blue? How about blue? Blue. Red? Deep orange? They don't have red. Or here, we got this red. Okay. So let me bring that in. Okay, so let's make this red. Let's bring in our ghost. Okay, so we want to make this into an object. What do we use? No. Image trace, right? So to do the image trace is under the pop-up window. Image trace. And we want to get rid of the white part, so we're going to use what? Under advanced, ignore white. Right here, ignore white. And then we got trace. We got a ghost. To alter the ghost, we want to use what now? No, somebody already said it earlier. What was it called? Expand, right? Object, expand. That makes it into an editable object. And then let's put a color in there. Let's use our eyedropper. There we go. Then you want to give it a 3D look. We can use our bevel and emboss on that if we want. Extrude and bevel. I don't know. Something to do. We don't have to make it 3D. But let's make our shadow. The shadow. So we get. I'll to make the shadow. I just use. So I would just use the pen tool to make the shadow. And then again, you would use a gradient for that. And we need to make a color palette. So if you take the colors out of the object and put it in swatches, you can then drag that into here. That was the problem I have. So if I use the eyedropper, suck up the red, or no, we're going light, right? No, I guess we are going red. We're going red. You can drag that into the palette. And I want the dark red. I can drag that into the palette, then into the swatches, and then from the swatches I can drag it into the gradient. So once it's in the swatches here, you see the gradient over here. I can then take it from here, and we're going to start with the dark one, right? And then we're going to go to the light one, like that, and then arrange, send backwards. There we go. How about that? What is that icon telling me?
It looks like a Christmas ghost. This is the red. Looks like a Macy's.
Mythbusters? Should there be a shadow in the eye?
I think it'd be too much. I didn't like the.
But you see how to make the shadow. A little gradient. I use the dark one in the material design for the under here, and then I go to the light, the edge, the same color as here on the very edge. Okay, so the shadow has a little gradient to it. And then usually it's solid like this, right? Solid, not with the 3D. I just love the 3D effect.
Okay.
So, that's okay. No, I'm glad you told me not to use the 3D effect. Okay. What do you think? You have an idea for an icon? It's a dragon fruit. See, I know that one.
Good job.
Okay, how do I save it? For Android. Android is evil. Android is evil. You got 5. Remember, with OS, you got Apple, there was only 3, right? Android, you got 5. Let's see what size they are. Okay, let's look at Android. In addition, remember how you had to name the Apple ones with the @1, @2, @1x, @2x, @3x? Do you remember me demonstrating that? No? No. Remember for Mac, right? Where didn't I save some last class? We didn't save a different one? Okay, how about we do this? We do the ghost for Android and we do the wheel for Apple. Okay, you ready? So let's start with the wheel first. That's the easier one. Apple, Apple, Apple. So I'm going to take this wheel and save it for Apple. How I'm going to do that? I want you to turn in your icon. You're supposed to do an icon, and I want you to save it for Apple. To save it for Apple, you select the artboard that you want using the artboard tool. Why is it at I don't know what it was doing there. Whatever. Select this area. Go under File, Export for screens, or export as. What version do I have here? Hold on, I have to think about this.
Jeff, when's the party happening?
Well, I have to think about this for a moment. That's not right. Okay, yeah, use the export. They changed it. The newer version's even different than this version. This version's a little old. So to make your screens for Apple, we go under File, Export for Screens. You see that? I'm going to deselect the ghost one because we're going to save. So we're saving Apple only. You'll notice over here where it has 1x, 2x, 3x. Do you see that? 1x, 2x, 3x. That's what you want. And then where it says range, we're just going to use 1. And then we should have given it a name because it's going to use whatever name you named your file. So I should have called it gear, but I'm going to say export screens. And it's just calling it artboard right now. And then I'm going to hit replace. And here you go. It saves it. Notice how it saves it at 1x, at 2x, at 3x. That's how you need to name it for Apple. So you'll see this is one size. This is double the size. It doesn't look double, but it is. The reason why is it's a higher resolution. So, and then this is even triple the size. Doesn't look like it, but it is. Actual size, you'll see, look how big it is, right? And of course this one, if we said view actual size, it'll be about that size. And if we open this one and say view actual size, well, that one, it's almost the same as the 2. I don't know what the difference is. 1 and 2, they should be the same. But they are different sizes. So make sure you save 3 different versions and make sure you name it at 1x, at 2x, at 3x, and they should all be different sizes. It should automatically do it here inside of Illustrator for you by going under Export for Screens. Okay, let's look at the Android one. So again, I'm going to turn that one off. I'm just doing Ghost for Android. So over here in the format, you'll see you have a variety of different sizes over here. You have 1.5, 0.5, 0.75 width and height and resolution, as well as a suffix here. And it doesn't look like they have the Android one in there built in here. Oh, here we go. You gotta click on Android right there. Sorry. Your iOS is this one. The Android is this one. So Android, it has 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Sorry, I lied. 6 different ones for Android. And so it kind of goes through the same thing. Again, it's going to shrink it down. And notice how it names it as well. And it has specific naming conventions as well with the XXHDPI, HDDPI. What is this DPI thing? Okay, so let's just read about that under here before we export out. Where is it? DP. So DP, I'll just have to, let me see, what size? So the DP stands for density pixels, pixel density. The number of pixels that fit into an inch is referred to as pixel density. High-density screens have more pixels per inch than low-density ones. As a result, UI elements such as buttons appear physically larger on low-density screens and smaller on high-density screens. Screen resolution refers to total number of pixels in a display. And so they have all these different ones. Okay, so the purpose of saving, and you can see them all different sizes here. They're, the screen resolution in there, and they have a way to figure out the DP pixels divided by times this. You really don't need to do all those calculations for you. It will do those calculations for you. And the reason why you have different sizes is when you program the app, it'll serve the appropriate size automatically because it recognizes the screen that you're using. Right? Like even on the Apple, that's why there's 3 different sizes for Apple, because you might have an iPhone 6 Plus, or you might have the new iPhone 8, and you might have the iPhone 4. I don't know, does anybody still have an iPhone 4? No, I guess we've all moved on. So it will, and you'll see the pixel ratio. So it's basically adding more pixels in there. So how do I deal with that? In Illustrator makes it easy. You don't really need to deal with it. All you need to do is save it out. Again, hit the Android right there. Export artboards. Here you go. You have all your Android ones. Made a copy SVG version there. So you got 1, 2, and they don't look different, but again, they're probably different actual size, different resolutions. That's why. So it's not necessarily the dimensions, it's the number of pixels that is inside the object. And look how it names it. So in order to name it, you can name your artboard. Notice how it puts this crazy artboard 1 copy blah 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 right there. Did you see that? How I can adjust how it names it is by naming the artboard. Inside Illustrator, you can actually name your artboards by going to the pop-up artboard window. Inside there, you'll see the name right here. So this one was Ghost, right? I spelled Ghost. Is that Ghost? And this one is what? Gear? So I should have named the artboards. Again, you can name artboards inside of Illustrator in the artboard pop-up window right there. And once you name them, then go to export. And let me do it again for Android. I'm going to go Ghost again. And notice what it does now is, since I've named the artboard, look, Ghost, Ghost. So how you control how it names it is by naming the artboard. Okay? You think you can make an icon with all different sizes? You don't need to do Android, just do Apple for me. 3 sizes for Apple. Okay? Okay, let me go over printing. Let me stop this video here.